I used to believe I was invisible, until I married a man who proved just how replaceable I was. My name is Marlo Quinn. I am 28 years old and I work as a residential interior designer, the kind people only notice when something feels calm and finished. I have always lived quietly, carefully, like someone afraid of taking up too much space. That was before I married Grant Callahan. For 6 years, my life felt like I was standing just outside the frame of someone else's story. I showed up, did my part, smiled politely, and disappeared again. Then, suddenly, I became a wife. Grant Callahan was 42, polished, wealthy, respected. A man whose name opened doors before he even spoke. When he asked me to marry him, I told myself it was fate finally paying attention. The wedding was elegant and distant. Champagne, silk, polite applause. Grant's family filled the room, his presence anchoring everything. I remember thinking that night that my life had finally shifted into focus. That illusion lasted exactly one night. On our wedding night, I dreamed I was still inside a story, one I could not control. In the dream, I watched Grant standing beside another woman, radiant, young, effortless. I stood just behind them, blurred, unnamed. I understood everything with terrifying clarity. I was not the heroine, I was the placeholder. I woke up gasping, my nightdress clinging to my skin, my heart racing like I had run miles. The truth settled into my bones before my thoughts caught up. Men like Grant did not marry women like me for love. They married us because we were safe. He married me because she turned him down. Her name was Arden Blake. She was 24, luminous, confident, the kind of woman who laughed without apology. She had told him he was ridiculous for thinking he could compete with men her age. She did not want stability. She wanted fire. So he chose me. I lay still as Grant stepped out of the bathroom, the scent of soap and wealth filling the room. He paused when he saw my face. "You look pale," he said calmly. "Are you feeling all right?" My throat tightened. "I have a headache," I said quickly. "Maybe we should rest tonight." He studied me for a moment, unreadable. Then he climbed into bed, leaving a deliberate distance between us. That empty space was louder than any argument. From that day on, I learned how to be invisible again. I made sure Grant always knew where I was. Gallery openings, charity dinners, family events, and every time Arden's name came up, he found a reason to leave. As for his 3 nephews, they were drawn to her orbit just as fiercely. Beckett, Rhodes, and Soren, all grown men, all successful, all somehow circling the same woman. Compared to them, Grant felt almost predictable. The mansion was quiet most days. The staff was polite, distant. The monthly allowance arrived on time. Peace came from routine. I planned to divorce quietly, take my settlement, and disappear. Then my wedding anniversary arrived. Scrolling through my phone, I saw a photo posted by Soren, the youngest nephew I followed online. Arden stood glowing at the center of the celebration, Grant beside her, smiling softly. The date burned into my chest. My anniversary was her birthday. I stared at the screen for a long time. This life was never mine. I was just borrowing it. That night, I started packing. The suitcase was half full when the door opened. I shoved it under the bed, just as Soren stepped inside, smiling like he belonged there. "Stepmom," he said lightly, but his eyes were heavy. "What am I supposed to do when I can't compete with them?" The air shifted. My skin prickled. I chose my words carefully. "You should stop thinking of everything as a competition." His smile widened, unsettling. Before I could move, footsteps thundered down the hall. Grant appeared, fury darkening his face as he pulled Soren away. "What do you think you're doing?" Grant snapped. Soren laughed it off, hands raised, harmless as ever. The tension followed us downstairs, where Arden arrived moments later, bright and unbothered. Accusations flew. Eyes turned to me, and for the first time I did not stay silent. "I kissed him," I said flatly. Shock rippled through the room. Grant ended it immediately. He lifted me effortlessly, carrying me upstairs, ignoring every voice behind us. Later, when the house finally quieted, he told me to rest. "Where are you going?" I asked. Arden is upset, he replied. She shouldn't be alone. That answer hurt more than I expected. I lay awake long after he left, staring at the ceiling, understanding finally where I stood in this story. Hold on, tiny real-life pause. I read the comments when I am worn out editing, and seeing where you are listening from reminds me this story reaches real people. Like, subscribe, and tell me your city, state, or country. All right, back to the story. The house eventually fell silent again. I went downstairs for water, my thoughts heavy, my chest tight. As I reached the refrigerator, a shadow shifted behind me. I turned too quickly and nearly collided with someone. Rhodes. He stood close, too close, robe loose at his collar, expression unreadable. A fresh cut lined his arm, angry and red. That should be cleaned, I said quietly. He tilted his head, studying me. You notice things most people ignore. Footsteps echoed nearby. Instinct took over. I grabbed his sleeve and pulled him into the narrow shadow beside the fridge, my heart pounding as voices passed. Grant's voice, Arden's laughter. When the footsteps faded, Rhodes looked at me differently. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I was no longer invisible. Rhodes's eyes stayed on my face, as if he was trying to read something I did not want him to find. You dragged me like you were hiding a crime, he murmured. I was avoiding one, I said, voice low. He glanced toward the hallway where the voices had disappeared, then back to me. You're scared of her. I swallowed. I'm tired of her. He let out a soft breath that sounded almost like amusement, but his expression stayed flat. Same thing. I stepped out from the shadow first, forcing my shoulders to square like I belonged in the open. The kitchen felt too bright, too clean. I grabbed a glass with a hand that barely shook and filled it with water, focusing on simple movements so my thoughts would not spiral. Rhodes followed, unhurried. You said my arm should be cleaned. I didn't answer right away. If I did, it would sound like concern, and concern was dangerous in this house. Concern turned into leverage. Concern turned into someone thinking you were available for comfort. I pulled open a drawer, found the antiseptic wipes the staff kept stocked, and set them on the counter. Sit. He arched an eyebrow, but he sat at the island anyway, rolling his sleeve higher. The cut looked worse under the light. Not deep enough for stitches, but raw, like he had scraped it hard and ignored it out of spite. How did you do this? I asked. He stared at the ceiling for a beat. I don't remember. That's not an answer. It's the one you get. I pressed the wipe to his skin. He didn't flinch. That alone told me something about him I didn't want to know. Most people reacted to pain. Rhodes looked like pain was a language he spoke fluently. You're not like Soren, I said before I could stop myself. Rhodes's gaze slid back to me. Soren likes attention. I like outcomes. I taped gauze over the cut, my fingers steady now. Then here's an outcome. Stop cornering me. Stop letting him corner me. Stop letting this house turn me into the villain just because I married first. Rhodes watched my hands. You didn't marry first. You married second. You just did it legally. My mouth went dry, so you all know. He shrugged. We all know everything. The difference is who uses it. I finished wrapping his arm and pulled my hands away quickly, like I had touched something hot. I'm leaving. Rhodes leaned back. You're packing again. It wasn't a question. My stomach tightened. How would you know that? His mouth curved faintly. Because you look like a person who already said goodbye in her head. I hated how accurate he was. I grabbed my water and turned away, but his voice followed me, calm and precise. If you leave without a plan, she wins. And then Grant pretends he never chose you at all. I stopped, not because I agreed, because the thought stabbed. Grant pretending I never existed was the one thing I hadn't prepared for. It was petty, humiliating, and it still mattered. I hated that it mattered. I don't care about winning, I said. Rhodes's chair scraped softly as he stood. You care about dignity. That's why you're still here. He walked past me, close enough that his shoulder brushed mine, and my nerves sparked like a live wire. He He paused at the kitchen doorway, looking back once. Arden doesn't hate you because you're competition, he said. She hates you because you're proof he can choose someone else. Then he left. I stayed in the kitchen long after he was gone, staring at the gauze wrapper on the counter like it was evidence. Somewhere upstairs, a door closed. Arden's laugh floated down the staircase, light and satisfied. The sound made my stomach twist. I went back to bed, but sleep didn't come. My mind kept replaying everything. Soren's smile in my doorway, Grant's hand on my wrist, Arden's red eyes, Rhodes's cut. And the worst part was the way Grant's voice sounded when he said she shouldn't be alone. Like it was obvious, like it was his job. In the morning, the staff acted like nothing happened. Breakfast was set on the dining table. Fresh flowers. A newspaper folded neatly beside the coffee. The normalcy felt insulting. Grant came in around 10, dressed like he had slept perfectly. He didn't look at the empty seat across from him, the one that should have been mine in a marriage that meant anything. "We need to talk," he said. I kept my face neutral. "About what?" "About last night," he replied. His jaw tightened. "About Soren, about you saying you kissed him." I sipped my coffee slowly. "You needed an explanation, right?" He sat, fingers steepled. "I need the truth." I almost laughed. The truth was the one thing nobody wanted in this house. The truth was messy. The truth broke the story they were clinging to. "You want the truth?" I set the cup down. "Fine. I said it because I knew you would carry me upstairs. I knew it would shut them up. I knew you would protect the scene, not me." Grant's eyes narrowed. "That's not fair." "It's accurate," I said calmly. "If I told the truth, you would have to punish your nephew. You would have to admit your house has boundaries. But if I made myself look guilty, you could save face and still drag me away like I was the problem." His expression shifted, irritation flickering into something else. Something like realization. He opened his mouth, then closed it. I leaned forward slightly. "You married me for convenience, Grant, but I am not convenient when I'm cornered." His nostrils flared. "You don't know why I married you." I held his gaze. "Then tell me." Silence stretched. His phone buzzed on the table. The name that flashed on the screen was hers. "Arden." He rejected the call immediately, too quickly, like a performance. My chest tightened, but my voice stayed even. "You don't have to explain. Your phone already did." Grant's hand clenched. "Marlo." "I'm done being polite," I said softly. "So here's what's going to happen. I'm leaving soon. Quietly, cleanly, without drama. You can sign whatever you need to sign and go back to your real life." His eyes hardened. "And what if I don't want that?" That was new. It should have comforted me. Instead, it felt like another trap. Before I could answer, footsteps entered the dining room. Beckett appeared, dressed like he had just come from a meeting, calm and sharp. His eyes flicked to me, then to Grant. "Arden's waiting," Beckett said. Grant's gaze stayed locked on mine for one long second. Then he stood. "Later," he said, voice low. He walked out with Beckett without looking back. I didn't cry, I didn't shout, I didn't chase. I simply picked up my coffee cup and walked to the sink, rinsing it carefully like I was washing away fingerprints. Because if this house wanted me to be the villain, fine. Villains didn't beg. Villains planned. I packed with intention this time. Not in a rush, not with shaking hands. I folded my clothes carefully, separating what belonged to the mansion from what belonged to me. Anything Grant bought stayed. Pride was not worth the strings. I kept my grandmother's ring, my work portfolio, and the cash I had quietly set aside over months of pretending everything was fine. By noon, the house buzzed with movement. Arden's voice floated through the halls, bright and sharp. Luggage wheels clicked. A trip, again. Grant was taking her somewhere, clearing her head, fixing what he refused to name. I walked downstairs just as Beckett was giving instructions to the driver. He paused when he saw me, his expression unreadable. "You're not coming," he said. "I'm leaving," I replied. His brow creased. Grant didn't mention that. "He wouldn't," I said calmly. Rhodes stood near the window, his arm healed, his posture relaxed like he had already accepted the outcome. Our eyes met briefly. He gave a single nod, not encouragement, acknowledgement. Soren hovered near the staircase, restless. When Grant appeared, adjusting his cufflinks, the room stilled. "What are you doing?" Grant asked, noticing my bag. "I'm ending this," I said. "The papers are on the desk in your study. Signed. Simple, no accusations, no spectacle." Arden froze. "You can't just walk out." I looked at her for the first time without flinching. "I can, and I am." Grant stepped closer. "Marlo, we can talk." I smiled, small and tired. "We already did. You just answered with silence." His jaw tightened. "I chose you." "You chose a solution," I said gently. "I deserve to be chosen without math." The driver cleared his throat. Arden grabbed Grant's arm. "We're late." Grant hesitated. For a moment, I thought he might say my name again. Instead, he nodded and turned away. That was my answer. I left the mansion without looking back. The apartment I rented was small, sunlit, and mine. I took on more clients, poured myself into work, rebuilt my life piece by piece. Weeks passed, then months. The divorce finalized quietly. The settlement arrived untouched, exactly as promised. One evening, as I locked up after a late client meeting, I saw a familiar car across the street. Rhodes stepped out, hands in his pockets. "You look better," he said. "So do you," I replied. "I came to return this," he said, handing me an envelope. Inside was a simple bracelet I had once admired but never bought. "I don't need reminders," I said. He smiled faintly. "It's not a reminder, it's a receipt for choosing yourself." We stood there, comfortable, uncomplicated. I never saw Gran again. Arden faded from my life like a story that lost its audience. The mansion stayed full, but emptier than before. And me. I stopped being invisible the day I walked away.